What's up, everybody? Today we're back in Train Sim World 4 for another video. Today we're going to be checking out the new suspension update. Now, I know it hasn't been put onto all of the trains in the game yet, but I have found a train that is currently in the game that has the new suspension features that were promised in the all of the live streams before TSW4 came out. So we're just gonna look for that. It is the class 313 or 323, I believe. It has a special name to it though. Here we go. Class 323 TTC. Now when I first saw this, I saw TTC and I was confused because the only TTC that I know is Toronto Transit. But if we spawn it in, we can see it has no livery at all. It is just a normal 323, no Northern, no West Midlands livery, but it has a couple of special features on it. So let's go to the front and let's get this bad boy in the road. Now I want all of you to keep in mind that this suspension update isn't fully out yet. It's not like it's on every train. I'm assuming there's still some features, there's still some bugs, glitches that need to be sorted out. So this is only really a preview of what's to come. Let's close that down. Why not get our safety systems on? I see a lot of people operating without the safety systems, and I don't understand how they do it. Like, the safety systems add so much fun to operating the train. You know, it adds more for you to do. It's better than just, you know, sitting here, stingering off into the distance, looking at pure tracks. Let's get everything how I want it. Window open. So, what is the new suspension update? Basically, the suspension update, well, it does what it says. It updates the suspension, kind of gives it a new look, gives it a new feel. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring this train up to the switches ahead of us, right? And we're going to see how the cab behaves over the switches. We're going to see how the whole car body behaves over the switches. And we're going to see how the bogies, or if you're American, the trucks behave over the switches. So first, we're going to go for the cab. Let's throw it into notch 1 of power. So as you can see, as we started moving, the train kind of dipped down and it had a little bounce to it, you know. Maybe not a buck, as I would say, you know. In America, a lot of our subway cars, maybe railroad cars, have this thing called a buck. You know, all of the cars are applying power at different times. You have parts of the trucks that are kind of slamming into each other. I wouldn't say that just happened, but you could definitely kind of feel the motion of the train over it. So we're going to bring it to a stop just before the point. And you could kind of feel it like almost jolt down as we stop. Let's make sure the switch is set properly. And it wasn't. Oh, that would have been a bad derailment. Let's see. All of that looks about right. Alright, so we're going to do notch 1 of power. And we're going to just smoothly bring it over the switch. Ooh. Now you see how it dips down. Look at that. And now I'm going to wrap it over the next few switches, and we're going to see how the train behaves. Ooh. Yeah, I'm really a fan of the way the train is behaving over the points. I love to see how it behaves over rail gaps, you know, like track joints and stuff like that. Okay, so now that we've tested the train in the cab over the points, we're going to be checking out the way the car body and the trucks behave over the point. Or, you know, if you want to call it the bogies, we can call it the bogies. So, let's position ourselves right here. And let's bring it over the points. Now I'm really interested in seeing how this will behave over jointed track. You know, maybe I'll throw this on the Isle of Wight. We'll run it for a few stations over there and we'll see how it behaves on that. So we can see it swaying already. It hasn't hit the point yet. There's the point. Oh, so we could see the bogeys moving a little bit as it's switching to the different rails. You could see it jumping up and down. That's what causes a lot of car body up and down movement. So that's pretty good. I'm a fan of how all of this is looking in the game so far. I can only imagine how this would be on certain trains, you know, certain routes, like maybe the American routes where the trains don't have maybe the same type of build quality and they're a little bit more rough around the edges, like the M7A, M3A. I'd love to see how DTG makes those trains behave over jointed rail and points. But I'm really impressed by the way this 323 is. I wish it was a change that was made to the current 323 on the West Midlands route, and I forgot the other one, with the Northern 323. But I am a fan of the way this is moving. So now we're going to be checking out this train on the Isle of Wight. Okay, so we're back with the 323. Now we're on the Isle of Wight route. Sorry. I tried to load it up in free roam mode, but then I remembered that this train uses overhead wires and not third rail power, so I had to load it in off the rails mode in the scenario planner. Same thing, let's be honest here. Let's turn on all of our systems. Day headlights, oh, they were already set. Window open, light on. So what we're going to be testing, right, since this entire route has jointed rail along with a lot of like points, we're going to be testing out how the 323 behaves, especially since we can hit like 45 on this route. You know, it'll be good to test it at higher speeds. So let's close it down. Actually, I think we might have closed it down too early. Oh no, we didn't. Alright, forward, wrap it up. Okay, so we saw the train bob a little bit. And we're going to be following, well, sort of following the speed limits on this route. If there's a section of track that I feel like we need to take at a higher speed, we will. Like this. Wow, why are we doing 20? The rail gaps sound nice though. The track joints. Of course, there was only one. Oh, there we go. I want to see how it behaves over. Wow. That's always cool. You can see it bouncing a little bit. I like that. Oh wow, the back of the train's in the station. That's surprising. Oh yeah, I forgot the 323 does that. So, another thing that I wonder, right? When passengers get on the train, oh, you don't see the train bob down a little bit. That's a bummer. I wish that you could see like the weight of passengers getting on the train. Like every time someone steps on, you kind of see like that side of the train dip down a little bit. That would have been a cool addition. I feel like that would have added a little bit more realism, made it look a little bit more immersive, I guess. Let's close it down now. So I might bring this up to the I know none of these stations' names. I'm gonna be completely honest with you, but I'm gonna bring it up to one of the stations with points. I don't think it's the next station though. Alright, I can't do this slow speed thing, man. Gotta wrap it up. So I want to see how it behaves over here. Let's do in the cab. Ooh. Okay, so you've seen it bob a little bit. It wasn't as dramatic as it was in the training center. So we're coming through the tubes here. I don't know if that's a green or not. Oh yeah, I can look down at the controller. That's another thing I like with TSW4. Just look down at the controller to find like the next signal aspect. It makes it so easy, so simple. That's why I have it off in the top right corner. Now, I don't usually look down at it unless, like, let's say I pass a yellow signal, I'll look down at the controller, take a quick glance just to make sure that I know what the next one is. Especially, it helps a lot with the German routes where you'll have to acknowledge PZB, but sometimes when you acknowledge PZB, it doesn't, you know, tell you to slow down fast enough and you get tripped up with the 500 hertz. So I'll just take a quick glance, know that the next signal's red. I know that I gotta get below 65 kilometers per hour. I'm definitely noticing jolts as we go over track joints. Yeah, you can see it really hit. I'm gonna bring it in slow so you can see how the train's moving. Every axle that passes over the joint, it's causing the train to kind of like jump a little bit. And that's something that is very realistic. On a real train, you would be able to feel every joint that train goes over. That's one of the reasons why a lot of railroads switch over to a continuous welded rail, or CWR. You know, since the rail is welded together, all of the joints are welded together, and you don't have that loud, obnoxious to some sound. You know, it makes the train do this kind of grinding sound. That's why some people also call it grinded rail. But it reduces like noise pollution in areas, and I believe it extends the life of a rail and puts less strain on the train's bogies. But a lot of railroads, both in the US and in the UK, still have jointed rail, which is a addition I want them to add in Train Sim World. You know, DTG, I feel like if they added some more track joints to some of the routes, I feel like a lot of people would appreciate the addition in the sound, along with like it's just gonna make you feel more immersed. It's gonna make you feel like you're really in there, because you could feel the train going over the joint, you could hear it in the cab, and it's just more realistic for American British Railways. Now Germany, I know a little bit about Deutsche Bahn's network and some of the different S-Bahn systems and all of the regional lines and stuff. And I have seen some videos where, you know, they go over a whole bunch of track joints. However, it's not as widespread as America or the UK. But I will say that this is a very good start for the suspension. Now, if this was implemented across all trains, like let's say if the 484, the Class 484 had that, we would be able to really experience this route with all of the bobbing of the train, with all of this extra movement. And I just want to see it on all the different trains, because sometimes it kind of just feels a little bland, a little too stiff. And the same thing goes for like all of the different sounds. Like DTG kind of puts what's it called? It's like just like a stock flange and a stock track joint sound, but not every track joint sounds the same. Some might be heavier than others, some might be lighter, tinier. You know, not all track joints have the same sound, and not all curves have the same sound. Some trains might make, you know, a screeching sound that's kind of broken up into different parts. Some trains might make a full screeching sound all the way across the curve, you know, and it applies differently to different types of curves of different radii and different lengths. So I wish DTG could do a little bit more with like sounds of the like running sounds, I guess we would call them running sounds, to make it feel, first of all, the train needs to feel more heavier. I feel like we need vibration. Vibration goes a long way into making you feel like you're on the train, like squeaking, a little bit of vibrating when you apply the brakes or when you take off in power, maybe a buck sound here or there. A lot of that would go a long way into improving the way people envision sound in the game. So the same thing goes for moving around in the cab with the suspension. If I go over a track joint, I want the train to bounce. If I hit a curve, I need the train to either, if it's like super elevated rail, right, I need the train to lean into the curve. I need the train to lean out of the curve if you know you're taking it too fast. I feel like it's certain movements and it's certain sounds that go hand in hand that will just make you feel like, oh yeah, I'm a train driver, I'm operating the train, I'm actually there. I feel like a route that would probably benefit from it the most, Metro North and the Bakerloo line. Because the Bakerloo line, it's a subway route, right? And in subway routes, you have a lot of bad quality rail, you have a lot of track joints, and you have a lot of these other noises, you know, squeaking noises. These trains on the Bakerloo line are 50 years old. They should be making more noises than just screeching when they're stopping and little clicking sounds when you apply brake or when you apply power. I feel like if you really want to improve the experience that players have with the game, you really have to just add all of these extra sounds and all of that. And I would love it. I would love to be on the Bakerloo, hear a little bit of vibration when I apply the brakes, hear a little bit of squeaking when I'm coming into a station, rounding a curve, maybe a heavier track joint at certain sections, like Stonebridge Park. Maybe I want to hear clank there. Coming into Kensal Green, I believe, it's the station before Queen's Park. I want the train to start bouncing. I want to hear maybe more tinier track joints. You know, maybe make it realistic for the area. If it's like that in real life, put the same joint there. I know it may be asking for a lot to revisit these routes, and you probably need to get new sounds, but I feel like you shouldn't just leave those routes in the past. Like, we have a big issue with, like, routes get released for TSW and then they're never touched again. Or, you know, they'll get a small update here and there, but they got a outdated timetable design compared to the newer routes where the timetables are all based off of, like, real timings. I feel like we need to put more of an emphasis to go back to some of the routes and add certain features like this. So I hope the suspension update comes to all trains. I don't remember if they said that it will or will not, but this is definitely a nice thing to try out, and it's almost a glimpse into what we're gonna get next. So with that said, we are now pulling into Braden. I'm gonna end the video here, sorry. I'm gonna end the video here and call it a day. That was good. That was a nice test of the suspension update. Really appreciate that DTG just left the 323 with the update in there for players to, you know, try out and stuff. So that's a pretty good thing. And we're just gonna bring it right up to the end. But you can see every time we go over a joint, the train's kind of bobbing up and down, and it makes it just, it goes hand in hand actually, because I'm holding the PlayStation controller in my hand and I'm feeling the joints go through, you know, the controller with all of the vibration. I'm really enjoying that. Alright, so I'm done here. We're just gonna do that, and yeah, if you enjoyed the video, hit like, subscribe, and consider checking out my IRL rail fanning and, you know, information channel, Mystic Transit. And until next time.